What if I told you that the key to a peaceful life is simply not caring about things you can't control? Not only that, but letting go of things that drain you can actually be the most freeing thing you'll ever do. Sounds easy, right? But in a world where we're constantly worried about what others think, what might happen tomorrow, or how we're being judged, it's harder than it seems. Yet, the Stoics had a different approach to life. They didn't get caught up in worrying about things outside their control. Instead, they mastered the art of letting go and focusing on what really mattered. Today, I'm going to share 7 Stoic principles that will help you master the art of not caring and letting go, so you can start living with more peace, freedom, and purpose. 1. Focus on what you can control. The first principle is simple yet powerful. Focus on what you can control. We all waste so much energy stressing about things we can't change. The weather, the actions of others, past mistakes, or the future. It's all outside our control. But here's the catch. We can control how we respond to those things. In his book, Meditations, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that you have power over your mind, not outside events. The power of this principle lies in the realization that the only thing truly within our control is our response to the world around us. You cannot control how others behave, how traffic affects your day, or even whether or not you get that promotion at work. But you can control your attitude, your mindset, and how you react to whatever life throws at you. Imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam. You're running late for an important meeting, and your stress levels are climbing by the second. At that moment, you have a choice. Let your frustration build, or you can accept that the traffic is out of your control and shift your mindset. When you choose to focus on what you can control, like listening to an educational podcast or using that time to reflect, you remove the power that the situation has over your emotions. This is where peace starts to grow. This practice isn't about ignoring reality. It's about understanding that your power comes from how you respond. When you focus on what you can control, your reactions, your mindset, your attitude, you free yourself from the burden of trying to manage everything. The beauty of Stoicism is that it teaches us to shift our attention from external chaos to internal mastery. So, ask yourself, what can I control right now? And, most importantly, what can I let go of? 2. Accept that life is impermanent. The second principle is all about accepting the impermanence of life. Nothing lasts forever. Not people, not circumstances, not emotions. So why do we get so attached to things that will eventually change? The Stoics understood that attachment leads to suffering because we become too attached to fleeting things. Epictetus put it simply, what is bad is not the event itself, but your judgment about it. When we cling to people, possessions, or outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment when those things inevitably change. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to view life as a constant flow. Everything is temporary. And by accepting this, we can avoid unnecessary suffering. Think about it. How many times have you stressed over a situation, only for it to pass and reveal itself as inconsequential? Perhaps you were once deeply anxious about a test, a presentation, or even a relationship, only for time to show you that it wasn't as important as you initially thought. Epictetus teaches us to treat everything with the same indifference. When you grasp that change is inevitable, whether it's a career shift, the loss of a loved one, or even the natural progression of seasons. You stop clinging to the idea that things need to stay the same in order to be happy. And when you stop holding on so tightly, letting go becomes a lot easier. Why embracing the impermanence of everything around you? You free yourself from the anxiety of fearing change. Instead, you make peace with it. 3. Practice negative visualization. A powerful technique from Stoicism is negative visualization, and it's a game changer. It sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. Instead of fearing what could go wrong, the Stoics actually encouraged us to imagine the worst-case scenario. Why? Because when you mentally prepare yourself for adversity, you stop being so afraid of it. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The things you think about are the things you will be." You see, most of us go through life expecting things to always go smoothly. We expect our relationships to thrive, our careers to flourish, and our health to remain perfect. But life is rarely that predictable. The Stoics understood this, so instead of waiting for bad things to happen, they took control by imagining the worst outcomes, and they learned to accept them. Imagine that you've just received some bad news. Maybe a project at work has failed, or a friendship has fallen apart. The typical response is panic, fear, and even anger. But through negative visualization, the Stoics would encourage you to sit with that fear. Imagine what would happen if you lost your job or faced a betrayal. Instead of being overwhelmed, by rehearsing the worst in your mind, you mentally prepare yourself for the inevitable moments of difficulty. Why does this work? Because the more you imagine the worst, the less likely you are to be devastated when it actually happens. Negative visualization helps you release the emotional grip you have on outcomes. So when things don't go as planned, you can let go of disappointment much quicker. It's not about being negative. It's about being mentally prepared. This mindset gives you the freedom to let go of your attachments, knowing you can face anything life throws at you. 4. Live according to virtue, not approval now. Let's talk about living for yourself, not for others' approval. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from aligning your life with virtue, not by seeking external validation. This principle is incredibly freeing because it releases you from the need to care about what other people think of you. Seneca wrote, "The approval of others is a false god. Worship it, and you will be enslaved by it." How many of us chase likes on social media or seek praise in our careers? But when you make virtue your goal, you stop worrying about what others think. Instead, you focus on being the best version of yourself, regardless of external opinions. When you live by your own principles, you naturally let go of the pressure to conform to society's standards. You start living freely, for your own sense of fulfillment, not to impress others. One of the best ways to practice this is by reflecting on your actions and questioning, is this in line with my values? If yes, then it doesn't matter what others think. If no, then it's time to change. Living for approval is a never-ending cycle. As soon as you meet one standard of approval, the next expectation shows up. But when you live by virtue, you step off that hamster wheel. You stop being obsessed with external outcomes. Instead, you focus on living with integrity, purpose, and self-respect. And when you do this, you naturally start letting go of the need to impress others. 5. Don't take things personally. A huge part of letting go is learning not to take things personally. As human beings, we are wired to be defensive, to take offense and to internalize the words and actions of others. But the Stoics would tell us that this is a waste of energy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us how much time you have wasted in taking offense at others. It's not their fault. It's your own fault for judging them. When someone insults you, judges you, or makes you feel less than, remember that their actions reflect who they are, not who you are. Take this simple example. You're walking down the street, and someone cuts you off without saying a word. You could feel anger building up in you, or you could simply let it go. The Stoic way is to remember that their actions are a reflection of them, not you. People act based on their own experiences, emotions, and frustrations. You don't have to internalize their behavior. This practice of not taking things personally is incredibly freeing. It allows you to live your life without being emotionally affected by the actions of others. You stop absorbing negativity from the world around you and can focus on your own peace. Not everything is about you. It's about how others choose to act. When you stop internalizing the negativity of others, you let go of the emotional weight that holds you back. 6. Embrace discomfort. The Stoics weren't afraid of discomfort, they actually embraced it. Why? Because they knew that discomfort helps us grow and become more resilient. Epictetus taught, don't seek comfort, seek strength. Life will throw difficult situations at you. You'll face challenges, hardships, and moments of discomfort. But it's how you respond to them that defines your character. Why embracing discomfort? You learn to let go of your attachment to comfort and security. You realize that growth doesn't come from staying in your comfort zone. It comes from pushing yourself to handle adversity. Whether it's physical discomfort like working out, emotional discomfort like having tough conversations, or mental discomfort like facing failure, each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your mind and spirit. Next time you're faced with discomfort, whether it's a difficult task, an uncomfortable situation, or a challenging decision, embrace it. Let go of the fear and resistance. Lean into the discomfort, because when you do, you'll come out stronger on the other side with the confidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you. 7. Practice gratitude for what you have. The final principle to master the art of letting go is gratitude. The more you focus on what you already have, the less you feel the need to want more. The Stoics were advocates of practicing gratitude daily. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." It's easy to get caught up in the desire for more success, more possessions, more recognition. But when you constantly chase more, you miss out on the peace that comes from appreciating what's already in your life. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have. Each day, take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. Not just the big things, like family or health, but the small things. Too, like a good meal, a kind gesture, or a beautiful sunset. By practicing daily gratitude, you'll start letting go of the need to seek happiness in external sources. You'll realize that you already have enough to be content. Why mastering these 7 Stoic principles? You can start letting go of the things that weigh you down and embrace a life of peace and freedom. Remember, life is impermanent, and you don't need to control everything. Focus on what you can control. Embrace discomfort, practice gratitude, and stop seeking validation from others. What are you holding on to right now that you can let go of? It's time to release the grip on things you can't control and make space for the things that truly matter. If you found this helpful, Make sure to hit subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and life-changing lessons.